had a zipper.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And you know what? It took the camera off. Ah, so we're not gonna have any on board. Interesting. Yikes. Okay, well. Okay, no doubt if you saw my last launch days video, you know what happened to the RAV-3. It was a good flight, good climb up. I think I used the wrong motor. I used a 6-second delay instead of a 4. I think the 4 would have been better. And what ended up happening was the rocket had arced over the top of apogee and was heading back down at a pretty good velocity when the motor ejected. And when it did, the shock cord, which is probably, 1/3 Kevlar and the other 2/3 elastic. But anyway, it opened with such force that the Kevlar zippered the top of the body tube. Now what I'm going to attempt to do is to fix that right now, and I'm going to try to do it the easy way. I thought about cutting out a big section and then filling it in with new cardboard, but it's a relatively small gap, so I'm thinking I might be able to get away with just filling the gap in with thin CA. I'm not trying to, again, do it the cheap way, but I think I can really get away with it. So let me let's go ahead and kind of take things apart. And I want to give a shout out to Joe, who you saw in that video. He made this 3D printed cradle for me, which is really awesome, and I get to use it today on this rebuild, so that's pretty cool. All right, so we got the nose cone disconnected. That kind of frees us up from anything. Now, part of the shock cord is sticking up through this zipper, so I need to, let's see, let me get all the shock cord pulled out to include, yeah, there it is. Okay, so let's pull that back through. There we go. Okay, let me take an X-Acto and just sort of cut out some of this. And regardless of what I end up doing, I'm gonna have to sand, fill, and repaint. So if it's a little rough, that's okay, because it's gonna get sanded down anyway. Now it's actually smooth on the inside, which is really good news, but that makes sense because it pulled outward, so it pulled the cardboard out. But you want the smoothness on the inside so you don't have any bind-ups or hang-ups on the nose cone. Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about this. I'm gonna take this shock cord, I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna send it back down to the bottom of the tube as best I can, at least as far as the baffle. That way it's free and clear. There we go. That way it's out of the way. Now, what I want to do, I guess you have the option of using the nose cone to give your spacing, but I want to use a coupler that I have. Yeah, okay. Now, what I'm going to do too is I'm going to take some wax paper and lay it around the coupler, just pretty much in the area of where it's gonna get glued in. That way we don't glue the coupler. Let's see if I can't squeeze this in. Yeah, so if I hold it like that and then just fill in all that area there with thick CA, we may get the hold in the bond that we're looking for. And then again, I'm gonna have to sand this down anyway, so if we get a buildup of CA, it's okay, because I'm gonna hit that with sandpaper. But at least if we can get it closed up, and if we get the top, that'll make it easier to fill down in the bottom. So let me go ahead and take my thick CA glue, and I've got some accelerator here in a bottle. Okay, I'm not gonna pinch it too tight, but I'm gonna pinch it enough where there's a little resistance. Let's see if that grabs. It may have. Well, let's pull the coupler out and see what we got. Okay, coupler's safe. The wax paper comes out. And I feel a smooth bond on the inside. I just noticed we have a little bit of a zipper on the other side too. I honestly didn't notice that until right now. But some thin CA will wake into that easy enough. Okay. Okay. A little bit of a crackle to it. I think once we get the whole, excuse me, the whole thing filled in, we'll be in better shape. Let me get a sanding stick. Kind of work this down a little bit. It's a little bit sticking up there. I'm going to take that off with the knife. There we go. Okay, let's just see how the nose cone fits. That's a pretty good fit right there, actually. That's about as snug as you're gonna want it. All right, so this may end up working out pretty good. I'm going to, I don't know if I need the coupler or not. I'm just gonna lay the wax paper up in there and fill in. So wait, let me go all the way to the bottom. Let me fill down in here. Okay, and in the middle. Work a little bit more up in the top where we first started. Okay. Wax paper comes right out. It's smooth for the most part. I will have to smooth it a little bit with sandpaper on the inside, but not too much. Okay. We're done with the glue. Take the sanding stick again and just kind of work it over. Again, I honestly thought the first idea I had was I was gonna cut out a big rectangle and then have to kind of plug that in with some new cardboard. But then I thought, well, I'm gonna have two gaps on each, one on each side and one on the bottom. Why not just fill in the one gap here? And I think this is gonna work out. By the way, in case you're wondering, this is a popsicle stick, and I just glue down a piece of sandpaper at the tip, and it makes a nice little sanding stick. This is 220. Okay, you know what? That feels pretty darn good. Actually, I'm impressed with that. I'm gonna go ahead and sand a little bit on the inside. I'm gonna clean up more sanding, and I think this will take some paint here pretty soon. So we're just about done. I also need to do a little touch up on that back piece right there. So yeah, let me finish sanding and get it out to this paint booth, and I'll show you what we got when we're done. Okay, before I take it out to the paint booth, I just want to show you a couple things I did that I hadn't planned on doing. After the glue pretty much set, I went ahead and sanded it down pretty good. Is it perfect? No, but it feels good, but not perfect. That's because I'm getting into different layers. I think I touched the cardboard layer at one point, but I think the paint will smooth things out for the most part. Same goes on the other side where that small crack was. That actually feels a little bit better. But one thing I want to show you is, in addition to gluing on the outside, if you realized, when I took the nose cone off, I had masking tape wrapped around it, which means this was a loose fit initially. So I thought, well, I wonder if it's a loose fit initially, maybe that gives me enough room to do a little bit of a buildup on the inside. So, in fact, there's still a little bit of looseness there. I'll still have to tape it up a little, but what I was able to do was run a piece of paper as reinforcement down that joint. And I just lined it with CA glue, thin CA, let it seep into the cardboard and the paper, and that kind of built up a little bit of a structural, just a more rigid layer to prevent this from splitting in the future and possibly opening up again. So that worked out pretty well. And in fact, it's so thin, I'm still gonna have to run a little bit of masking tape on the nose cone, which is fine. In fact, most people don't even realize this. This is the same nose cone that crashed when the RAV-3 went in ballistically and destroyed both of my cameras. That was the flight where the Ace deployed, but the speed was too great and it just ripped off, the parachute ripped off the Ace. And this is the same nose cone that actually augured into the ground. Yeah, it's kind of surprising how well it turned out, but I did have to clean up, some of this was cracked off, so I had to clean off some of that. I had to re-drill a couple new holes because I didn't have the eyelet to work with anymore, but no, it's still functional. I cleaned it up, sanded it, and painted it red. So lo and behold, it's the same and original nose cone that we had before. So again, this is all structurally sound now. I'm going to take it out to the paint booth and finish it up, and we'll come back and do a little bit of a closeout. Okay, as you can see, we are completely done with this project. The paint went on nicely. It took a few coats. In fact, after the first couple coats, I did notice that there were some little dings and little like depressions in the glue joint. So I filled that in with a putty, let that dry, sanded it smooth, and then I put a couple more coats of the gloss white over top of that. And then I kind of very lightly sanded it with 1000 grit just to kind of smooth everything out. But yeah, that's, let's see, where's it at? Looks like that's, it's subtle, but that's where the zipper was right there. I'm not even sure if it's coming out on camera. I may go ahead and put a coat of the clear floor polish on it just to kind of give it a more of a gloss and kind of that a little bit smoother finish. I didn't want to sand too much because I didn't want to go through the paint back down into the color where the putty's at. But overall, I'm very pleased with it. It's structurally sound. We've got good little reinforcement down inside the tube there with that paper layer and CA. So yeah, I'm not sure when this video is going to release, but I will be flying it my next launch day video, probably on Saturday. So if you see this before Saturday, then you know it's coming. If you see this after the launch day, then you'll obviously know it's already flown. But I just wanted to show the process and how I built it. I think it came out really nice. And if you have any suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. if I could have done it better, more efficient, easier, whatever. I'm sure there's, they say there's a million ways to skin a cat, and there's probably a million ways to fix a zipper. But that's what I tried, and it worked, and I liked it. It was pretty easy too. So with that, I'm going to end the video. Have a great rest of your day. God bless, and we'll see you on the next rocket video.